Alright guys, I think I'm gonna do a little get ready with me, like asking or answering some questions I got from my last Q&A that I put up, but I feel like I always do this where like I think I don't wait long enough, or like I post at times where like not a lot of people are like on Instagram to answer or to like write their questions that they want me to answer. So I saved them for this time so that way I can answer it here with you guys. But I'm just gonna like start getting ready and just like chat with you guys. And then yeah, go from there. So I'm sorry that if this comes a little bit later, but oh, let me start with the story time first about how Snow ran away. Basically I was working and you know, it's been hard for me to like clean up my space when I'm working every day. I come home late and stuff, and or sometimes I come home just like tired. I'm trying to like work out, I'm trying to like, you know, be in my relationship and like also spend time at home and trying to enjoy my home. And it's just been really hard for me. Like today I had to like choose, do I want to stay home before I go to work, or do I want to go work out, and then, you know, all this stuff. And I just feel like it's just been like really hard for me to find a balance, and I'm going to try my best this month of July to find a balance between everything, because it's just, again, like hard when I'm trying to do it all and do it all alone, you know? So when I'm working these long shifts, I like my mom to come over to like make sure like Cali and Snow's like water's still okay, if their food bowl's still okay. Like even though I have like the automatic thing, I just like her to like go, because sometimes I don't have time to like check on my phone when I'm working, you know, all the time. And just like make sure they're just okay, like the house is not too hot, open up some windows for them so they can look outside. So she'll spend like a few hours here just so that they can feel like there's somebody here, like to play with them, interact with them, so that they don't feel lonely. And I'm like so grateful that she's like here for that, because I know like before, like they would be so sad when I was gone all day. And I just feel like now I need to like have someone come and just check on them, you know, once in a while, like when I'm gone. So she'll come and like stay for a few hours, which I really like appreciate, because she goes to work too, you know. So like she comes over, she'll spend time with them and like pet them, play with them, and then she'll like, you know, sometimes she'll eat like some of the food that I have here or whatever, and like she'll clean up for me a little bit. So she was trying to clean up and throw some cardboard boxes out, and she didn't close the door behind her. She just left it open. She said she wasn't thinking, and like she just wasn't sure that Snow was behind her. But you know, Snow is a very friendly cat. He's very sweet and very affectionate. So he was following her and he got out. And I was at work and my mom didn't tell me that he was out. So I think he was out of the house like at 7 or 8 p.m. And she didn't tell me until I was looking at my security cameras, and I was like, hey, I was talking to the security cameras, like, hey mom, like how's Cali, how's Snow? She's like, I'm trying to find your boy cat right now. And I was like, what are you talking about? What do you mean trying to find him? What do you mean? He's not home? She's like, well, I was taking out the trash for you, like the cardboard boxes, and I didn't think he was behind me, and I had the door open and he ran out. You gotta be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. So I'm in distress at work now. Like I'm freaking out because I'm far away, you know, I'm at work. So I'm like telling her like the AirTag doesn't work unless I'm nearby him, unless there's like an iPhone that's gonna pick it up. Like the AirTag, I only have AirTags on the babies because if I'm at home and I can't find them, can't locate them, I'm just gonna beep them so I could know where they are. You know, it's just so I could find them or whatever. Make sure like they're safe. Because sometimes they go in hiding, they like go in my closet, they go behind my mirror, they go like all over the place in the bathrooms, whatever. So I just like to have it so that like I can find them. So I come home and I'm walking around this neighborhood that they have no idea what this neighborhood's like, how it is or anything like that. This is a new space for them. And the thing about Cali and Snow is that they used to be indoor-outdoor when I was with my ex. Not by my choice. My ex decided to do that against my wishes and force them to go outside, which I hated because that's where they can get hurt. There's strays, there's predators out there, cars, things like that. Like, I was always worried about them, but because when I was living with my ex, I really had no voice living with my ex. Anything that I wanted or anything, I was never respected. And that is the truth with Cali and Snow. Like anything I wanted for them, anything I wanted to do for them, I was shut down immediately. So taking them with me here and being able to, you know, raise them the way I want to in a safe home where it's, you know, away from bad things that can happen to them, and they have things here. They have toys here, trees here, you know, and my mom's coming to check on them when I'm working late, so they're not always like alone all the time, you know. So anyway, especially when Cali has a little nick in her ear from being in a cat fight, and then Snow had scratches on his face before I've had to clean up because he's gotten into fights with strays. So I'm thinking the worst things, right? And Snow has already been lost once before when I was with my ex, and he came home on a rainy day, soaking wet, dirty, hungry, after like over a week. And I never shared that with you guys because I was honestly like embarrassed that like they were even outdoor and they were, you know, like that. And my ex, again, like we would always like argue about this thing, but then because they already had the taste of the outside life, they wanted to be outside. So leaving my ex and making them completely indoor has been the best thing for my mental health, honestly. But then when Snow got out, I was so stressed. I was thinking about like the worst things that can happen. And it was getting late on top of that. So I was scared. I was very, very scared for him. So after searching the neighborhood for about 2 hours, calling for him, trying to see if the air tag's gonna pick up, and it's not picking up, I had to go back inside. So I had my mom stay inside my house while we locked Cali in the room. And I was telling my mom, like, okay, you're gonna wait to see if Snow comes back while I'm gone. And he never came back. So I had to eventually like call it quits around 11 o'clock, I think. I was like, I can't, I need to get ready for bed. I'm so exhausted, you know? So I opened up all the windows in the house in case I hear him come home or, you know, crying, or, you know, his little bell. He has a little bell on his collar now. And I made a little like makeshift bed nearby the front door, and I put the window up. I tried making it so like there's like my scent everywhere just in case. And then Callie's like wondering why we're out there. She's just like, why the fuck are you laying on the floor, you know? And then she like realized my brother's not here. Like, I don't think she sensed him anymore. So she starts to cry. She's crying. And she's on her hind legs going to every single window, just crying this like sobbing like sound. Like she's, you know, the deep meow that cats make. And for an hour, literally for exactly like an hour, she was doing that. And then guess what? I get a notification on my phone saying AirTag is found nearby. I click on the play sound and I hear Snow's collar. So I'm looking all over for Snow, and then I see him at the side of my house staring at me. And I don't think he recognized me at first because he kind of got a little scared. And I was like, Snow, Snow, and I got closer, and then he realized, oh, it's mommy. I grabbed him, I picked him up, I got him into the house, I cleaned him up, I like gave him like the little like wet wipe thing, and I like, you know, cleaned him thoroughly with like a bunch of those. I inspected him for fleas, for any bites, for any scratches, anything. Cleaned his paws, cleaned everything. I brushed his coat a few times, like, you know, so to keep him clean, and he was okay. And I was in disbelief, honestly. Like, honestly. And then my mom was like, I definitely learned my lesson. She's like, I will be more mindful when I'm over, and like when I'm walking around and stuff, I'm looking behind me to make sure there's no cat following me. I tell mom every time she's over, like, close the door, close everything, make sure everything's closed. Please, I remind her like a million times. And then now I think after this happening, she like realizes like I'm serious. Like you can't just like leave the doors open at my house. Like they will run out. I was literally going insane. Like I felt like I was gonna like lose it, because if I lost my cats, like that would be the most devastating thing for me. Like they've been with me through so much. So losing them would be like, I don't know. That would be, I don't want to like think about it, you know, because it's just like so sad to think about them being out there. Like they can't, you know, they can't do anything for themselves like that. and it's sad. It's really sad. I get sad when I see feral cats out there that don't have homes and like don't have anyone to take care of them, and like, you know, I just feel like Cali and Snow have everything here. And at the end of the day, your pets really only have you. If you think about it, like, you have a job, you have a life, you have friends, you have family, but like at the end of the day, like, pets really only have you to be there for them, or like each other, and that's it. Like, and that's if you have 2 or more. But if you have only 1 pet, then you really only have you, you know. So I'm happy that my babies have each other, and you know, they play with each other and they keep each other company and stuff while I'm gone. So it makes me happy. But yeah, that's what happened. And needless to say, like, your girl was stressed. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into these other questions that I had. This one says, what do you do when you wait for MRI scans to be done? How do you occupy yourself at work? In these cases, when you're scanning a patient, you should be looking at the quality of the images, making sure they're not moving, making sure they're following instructions. If there is any, like our abdomen scans and stuff, like they have to, you know, breathe in, breathe out, hold their breath, things like that. Sometimes we have other scans where they have to be like interacting with the scans. We do functional MRIs, so like gotta make sure they're like doing those as well. We do a lot of stuff, so like some things kind of need to be like half patient, half us, you know. So in those cases, you're looking over at everything, make sure they're good. You're setting up, you should be setting up all your sequences, making sure that they're covering everything that you need anatomy-wise. And then sometimes what we do is we go through our protocol work list where we go and check scans to make sure they're ordered properly by the physicians, and you know, they're getting the proper exams done, this and that. And if they're not, we ask a radiologist or whatever, they can change it. But yeah, there's things that you can do to, like, you know, occupy your time, but you should definitely be first and foremost making sure that all your images are coming out right, and that, you know, once you inject contrast, there's contrast in the images. You want to make sure that's in there. And most importantly, make sure patient's okay. Talk to the patients, you know, once in a while, like let them know how much of their scan time is left. We're supposed to be getting more students soon as well, which something that somebody was talking about, how like their school only accepts a certain amount of people or whatever, and I was saying that there's not a lot of places that like to train students, and one of the main reasons is that because our scan times are so limited, and sometimes we are expected to do our scans quickly and stuff, training and teaching people is not ideal when you're on a time restraint sometimes. So, you know, and not a lot of places want to teach. And, you know, to be honest, a lot of fellows that we get don't tend to stay at our hospital because they don't want to teach. It's a teaching hospital. So when you work for a teaching hospital or somewhere that teaches and trains, you know, students, people tend to not want to stick around because that's not what they want to do, because they just want to do their job and stuff like that, which kind of sucks because it's like you were once there one time where you needed to be trained and you need to learn, you know, so it's like, why not give back? But, you know, they don't get paid more, they don't get any incentive to do it. So that's why I think a lot of techs don't like to train, and a lot of doctors don't like to be at teaching hospitals because they just want to work, you know. I noticed a lot of like the older attendings, they don't mind doing it, and some of the older techs typically don't mind training, but many of the ones I've talked to don't like it. And I've trained students, I've trained other techs and stuff, and I typically don't mind it because, like, if we do fall behind or whatever, I will, you know, try to say like, hey, let me just scan the next one just so I can catch us up a little bit or whatever. Or, oh, this scan looks like you haven't seen it or done it, you know, before, so let me show you guys how I do it or whatever, how we do it here. So I try my best to kind of like give them an experience, as well as like trying to look out for myself too, because I don't want to fall behind as well. But everyone's different, you know. You can't, I don't blame the techs that are burnt out from training or burnt out from working and stuff, so they just want to come to work and just work. I understand that, but then I also understand, like, you know, one time at some point I needed to be trained and I needed to learn, I needed to do my clinical, so I kind of see like both, but I understand, you know. So in those cases, like, if you guys, I just said this to somebody in my comments, that if you do end up going to clinical and you're learning, I think the best thing you can do for yourself is ask the tech that you're with, or even if you're training at a new job or someplace, you know, ask the tech, what can I do to help you? What would you like me to do? Do you want me to get to the patient? Do you want me to change them? Do you want me to screen them? Do you want me to set up the table, clean the table? Like, work as a team and show that you're like really trying to help them, because if you help them catch up, or if you help them give them a little bit more time in their scan time, then they're more likely to allow you to actually scan the patient yourself. So that way there is room to make mistakes, or room to be patient and like take time and stuff like that, you know. So just be very active and like ask if you need contrast drawn up, do you need the injector set up, like anything to make that text, you know, shift smooth or faster. If you're like helping, being hands-on, I think they're more likely going to want to help you and train you, because now they have a little bit of time to like sit there and like go over things slowly with you and do the scan slowly with you, instead of trying to rush to set up everything and to scan everything so quickly, you know. So the next question is relationship / boy advice for girls in their early 20s, a piece of advice you'd give your younger self. I would say don't play house with someone that's not willing to give you a home. And not like saying they have to buy you a house or anything like that, but like to make a home with you. Because I feel like a lot of guys tend to just want a girl to do everything, like, you know, do the laundry, clean, cook, and this and that, and then you're trying to like go to school, especially in your early 20s, you're trying to go to school, trying to, you know, go to work and stuff like that. And in return, I feel like you feel like you love this person, you think you love them because you're so young and you know this is what you feel. But I feel like don't play house. Definitely don't play house with somebody that's not willing to give you a home or make it a home with you, because it's gonna waste your time. You're gonna find yourself feeling like you overextended, and then I know when you're in love, especially girls, we love to give. We love to give every single piece of us to a man. Like when we fall in love, you know, we want to do everything for them because we love them so much. And in return, we find ourselves lost. I would say get your life together, your career together, hobbies, things that make you happy outside of a relationship, outside of a man first, which sucks a little bit that I had learned that after leaving my ex. I started to find more hobbies like in working out and like doing other things more, hanging out with my friends more, things like that, you know, and trying my best to like also put my career first as well, because I don't want you guys to rely on a man for shit. Like, you guys can buy your own house, you guys can make your own food, you can buy your own clothes, you guys can do things. If a man wants to help you, that's just a plus, you know? But I feel like it's really important that you put yourself first and get your shit together, because you can't expect somebody else to have their shit together if you don't have your shit together either. I think for myself, like, I definitely don't think I should have moved in with my ex as quickly as I did. Although I don't regret everything that happened in my past, I mean, like, at the end of the day, like, I still feel like I'm in a good place in my life right now, regardless of what I was put through, what I've been through. But if I could go back, I think I would make some different choices, you know, and I think I would have put myself first more, because I wasn't doing that for a long time. And I think also to communicate with your partner and have hard conversations and understand, like, you know, what they want, let them know what you want, and that's the only way that you can find out, like, if that person really at the end of the day is like the right one for you. If you guys have similar, you know, wants and needs and desires out of life and out of a partnership, out of a relationship, out of love, you know. And I feel like if you don't have those kind of conversations, then how are you ever gonna know? Now in my 30s, like, that is something that I prioritize, is like getting to know what my partner wants and needs, expects out of me, and if it's something that I can do, want to do, or is aligned with what I want, then that's another thing. Sorry, my laundry just finished. But yeah, so those are my top advices for you guys. And skincare / makeup must-haves or workouts. I would say a good moisturizer. This one by Elemis. I have this one, another one. This one has SPF, so I use this during the day and it's like almost gone. And then the other one I have, I use just at night, and that one's really good too. And then I just started using this SPF setting mist, and it's actually pretty good. I combine it with this one, and I feel like they work really well. So that's something to look at. I'm loving this Makeup Forever foundation and the NARS one. Those are like really good. Where's the NARS one? This NARS one, the soft matte. I really like the finishes of these two the most. Oh, and then my Kiehl's Dark Spot Corrector Serum, I'm like already halfway through. I bought that from the Sephora sale, so yeah, I need to get another one when the next Sephora sale comes out. And then my workouts right now, so I had to pause my berries because there's no way, like with the way my schedule looked like in June, there's no way I was going to be able to go to berries and solid core. So I had signed up for the solid core, just signed up for the solid core membership, so I have that. And then now I think I'm just going to go to berries like once a week and then solid core 3 times a week so I can get 4 workouts in a week. Sometimes I might do like solid core and berries in one day depending on my schedule, or just, you know, do the 4 different days. And then running when I can as well is something that I've been trying to do too, because I think running like definitely helps me like maintain my weight. But it's been so hot here, you guys, like literally like blazing hot. So I have been running lately because I don't want to die. Like I don't want to die of dehydration, but I definitely want to get maybe like a running vest so that way I can like run at parks and things like that, or run on the sidewalks or whatever, and then like not have to worry about like having somewhere to put my phone, my wallet, my keys, and then having water. So if you guys have any recommendations on running vests, please let me know so I can make sure I get one, because I definitely do want to get one this summer so I can start running probably early in the day or like right before sunset. Those are probably the best times where it's not too hot. So that's my goal this summer. But anyway, those are the questions I had. I have to get going now, but I will catch you guys in a little bit. But I wanted to like, you know, talk about something a little different, something else than, you know, about moving and furniture and stuff. But anyway, I'll see you guys a little bit later.